Well, here at the Sefton Hotel, there's a lot going on with the police, and quite remarkably, we have this book. I like to hold up the camera. Now, this is a rule book which dates back to the 1800s, I believe. Darren is with us because this is your baby, Darren. You were gifted that last year, and you decided. Well, you tell us the story.
Yes, yeah. Well, last year we celebrated the 150th anniversary of the constabulary, so it's 1863 is the start date of the Isle of Man Constabulary as we know it, and we spoke to a number of retired officers. And a widow of a retired officer gave us this book quite kindly. It wasn't a late husband's because this book dates from 1879. But she gave it to me one day, I took it home with me, I sat and read it and I couldn't put it down. It's just a fantastic piece of our history, but social history and Manx history as well. It's tremendous.
And that's why I got Mr. Duff here as well, because all the other things you do, you were in the police.
Yes, I joined 1947.
Right, now, so we doesn't go back quite that far, but
So,
you
yes.
know a few things off the top of your head, because you're so active. Go on, in your day, just remind us of some of the incredible rules you had
Yes,
to
there were
abide
an
by.
awful lot of things. We weren't allowed, for instance, to go into debt. We didn't know, not allowed to have HP, hire purchase. Weren't allowed to, if you lived when the old police station is now was in Athol Street, if you lived higher up the town than Rosemount, you have to have a bicycle. To prove, to let the super know that you could get in in time to relieve the men that were going off duty. You wouldn't go off duty until everybody would come in and been relieved. You weren't allowed to go on high purchase. I was never allowed to buy a house in my day. I went to buy a house, which was £2,000, and we weren't allowed to go into debt. And the superintendent and the chief constable said, I can't allow you to go into debt, that amount of debt. There's a millstone round your neck for the rest of your life.
Well,
so I never bought a house.
There were some really other odd ones, though, as well, weren't there?
Bicycles and that sort of thing. And a suit. You had to have a Sunday suit as well as an everyday suit.
Wow. Darren, have you got some more that you can pull up?
There's some great, there's many in here. There's some great ones. One particular one is your responsibility in if there's a sudden downpour. The constable, and this is 1879 we're talking about, had to lift the eyes of the sewers to prevent flooding.
Well, that'd be useful the last Sunday, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes, it would have been very handy, yes. We're keeping that from Mr. Roberts because he may ask us to carry on doing that again. There's all sorts of ones, like, little gems like that.
Talking about the rain, flooding, if we used to shelter, and there were lots of doorways where we could sit down and shelter from the rain. Oh. And if we did that, and we knew the sergeant was coming around, we used to hang our cape out on a spout that was dripping down, so our capes were wet through when he came to see us, because he would feel them, and he would feel round the bottom of them to see whether there was any flour on them, so that he would know whether he'd been in the bakehouse sheltering, because the bakehouses were open all night baking.
It's bizarre to think that by the time that rule book was made, by the time you were in the force, it probably got quite a lot better, because... But that's huge, isn't it? I mean, anyway, the story is now that people can get hold of this if they want to understand.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's such a great book. It's such a great Manx book, if nothing else. We realised that it could benefit the charity, the Give a Gift charity on the island. So we own the rights to it. We've had it reproduced. It's going to be in a number of bookshops around the island for sale imminently, by the end of the week, we hope, for about £10 a copy. Or £10 a copy it'll be, and every single penny of that goes to Give a Gift, goes to the charity. So the stories that, I've just touched on one. There's many in here that you won't believe, and if you sit and read that, every penny goes to a local charity. So it's all good.
There are many officers still alive that could contribute to a book similar to this, tell about their experiences and one thing and another, and that would be worth reading.
Oh well, yes.
Well, it's just great news. So people can get more information from where about this book? Is this in the local shops, you said?
Okay, well, two things. There's going to be a number of the local bookshops are going to be selling them. I'm not going to say almost all of them. I think it's almost all of them, sort of Ramsey, Douglas, and Peel as well, going to be selling it.
And not the cop shop.
Not the cop shop, but if all else fails, ring 631212, ask for me, they'll put you through to me, I'll sort it out for you. So we'll make sure everybody gets a copy who wants a copy.
Yes, I think it's wonderful that we are showing this now to let the people know what it was like.
Yeah.
I don't know what the younger cops, constables or cadets that have just signed, you no resignation from cadets, have you? What they've read them.
Did you have the white helmets in your day?
I was in black helmets first.
When did they go to
and-
whites? Do you remember? Was it in your time?
No, I
Much later.
wouldn't. My memory doesn't go back like that. We had a fasten up tunics done and that sort of thing. And I remember the white ones coming in, which we objected to at first because we thought, well, we were going to be a target in the night. But we weren't really. We weren't ever bothered with people knocking it off and that sort of thing.